Now we want to investigate each of these figures. So now let's look at some of the significant here. Now when you look at the list of costs like this and you don't know which one to look at first, so I suggest you calculate the significant level by using this variance and divided by the flexible budget. So I want to know how many percent the cost has exceeded or not from what we expect. So if you look at here, the biggest one is the BlackBerry. Okay, so the second one would be the direct labor processing, and the third one is direct labor packing. So I will investigate the two biggest one, which is the direct material for BlackBerry and the direct labor for processing. Now we come to this. Sorry, this is wrong. So that should be direct materials. So direct material variance include two types: direct material price variance and direct material efficiency variance. If you don't know how to derive these formulas, watch my videos on how to derive the formula for price variance and efficiency variance. I think it's just below this video. And then you can come back and then we can calculate this one. So assuming that you have understand this, then you see that the formula is the purchase quantity and times actual price minus the standard price. And so we can calculate that by taking the purchase quantity for BlackBerry. So when we are talking about the direct material for BlackBerry, the purchase quantity is the purchase quantity for BlackBerry. So that is this one, okay? And then we times, and we open the bracket, the standard price as the actual price and minus the standard price. So the actual price for BlackBerry is this one, and then the standard price for BlackBerry is this one. Okay, so you see, look at the column for the price per unit of input, and you close bracket. Okay, so that is 12,000 U. Now there's another price variance that you can calculate. So instead of using purchase quantity, we use the use quantity, and then we also time with actual price minus the standard price. The reason why we use quantity is because when we want to investigate the direct material variance in the profit and loss statement, we have to remember that the portion of direct material cost in this is relating to the amount of direct materials that we used in the production and transfer into the inventory and then sold. So maybe they purchased 50,000 kg, but they only use less than that. So that amount of use actually transfer into the production cost and then transfer into the cost of sale. So I want to calculate that, so later you will see why it's different. So instead of this time, I will use the use quantity for BlackBerry. So that is this amount, and then I times, again I take the actual price per kilogram and I minus the standard price per kilogram. And then you see this time it's come to 9,000 something, alright, so also unfavorable. Now we come to the direct material quantity variance. The formula is the standard price and times the actual quantity minus the standard quantity. So before I go into this, I want to tell you this standard quantity is the standard quantity allowed for the actual output. So I just put a little a there so that you will never forget that that is for the actual output. So the standard price again is 1, and then times the used quantity, actual quantity, and minus what is the standard quantity of BlackBerry we should have used to produce 40,000 units. Okay, so standard we will use 1 kilogram per bucket of ice cream, and we actually produce 40,000 bucket of ice cream. Alright, so that is 1,000 favorable. And now I want you to add these two together. You add this and then you add this. So you get this one. And once you get this one, okay, I just highlight that, you can compare that with this one. So are they the same? Yes, they are the same. So when you do like this, you will figure it out. Okay, so in 8,750,000 variance, the majority of that is caused by the direct material price variance. And because this is the price, it's relating to the purchase phase. And if it is the efficiency is relating to production. So as a management accountant, you just simply say that, okay, so this figure is caused by majority by the purchase price. The boss will need to talk to the purchase managers to understand why the problem has incurred. Or it might be that our standard is wrong, because we might not talk to the purchase manager before we set the standards. Therefore, we don't understand the situation in the market. Right? So either we are wrong, or there's something in the market and the purchase managers has to buy at the higher price. So the point here is you do not draw the conclusion right away, but you will want to talk to the relevant people. And in this case, it's the purchase managers, and maybe you want to talk to the production manager as well. And now that is the direct materials, okay? So you guys can do for the other ingredients yourself in the same way. Now we come to the direct labor variance. So we want to investigate this one because it looks so big, right? So again, I will investigate that one. The formula for this one, okay, make it bigger. So the direct labor rate variance equal actual hours, and the first is actual hours. So the actual hours, we want to do that for processing. So we will look at the actual data box for processing, which is this amount, and then we times with the actual rate, which is this one, and minus the standard rate. So that is the one. Alright, so that is the rate per unit of direct labor, and then we enter. So this one is unfavorable because we have paid more than we plan to pay. And now the second one, the direct labor efficiency variance. The outside is the standard rate, which is $8, and times inside is actual hours for processing, which is this amount, and then the standard hours for processing at the actual output. Okay, so how much of time we spend on processing. Now that is the standard. Okay, so if the standard goes well, then how much we should have spent. Okay, again, it's unfavorable. The reason is, if you see that inside is actual minus the standards, flexible standard. Therefore, if that is positive, just mean that the actual is more than what we expected. And then now you can now you can add this figure together. And then you see this figure is the same as this figure. All right, so that is how you can check whether you got it right or not. You add them two together, you have to get this price and efficiency variance. And now you can see here the majority again of this direct labor variance is caused by the direct labor rate variance. So that means we paid much higher than we planned to pay, which led to the majority of direct labor variance. So again, if you want to talk more about why this happened, you should talk to HR. And for the efficiency, that is production. Again, it might be because we have done the wrong standard, because we didn't talk to the HR managers before we set the standard. So lack of communication can cause a lot of problem, can cause a mismatch between the our data with the actual production data, operational data.